Woo! In
Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
time, through May we turn. Spooky season wanes as horny season begins. But spooky can never truly be defeated. Madam Askew and the Grand Arbiter are here for a spooky tea time with the Tea Tzar. Maya as our special guest. Oh! Oh!
It was me all along.
Oh!
Master of disguise.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Hello. I did not get the memo. I'm all like, it's spring. It's so nice. I'm ready to be bright. And these two are like, we're goths.
I'm not
All the
goth,
time.
I'm eepy. That's the problem. Is
You're
that I'm spooky eepy. Eepy
Spooky
spooky
eepy.
time.
Oh my goodness.
We're entering the nightmare era where the sun is out all the time, which means I must retreat to the cave. And the cave requires sleep.
Oh, poor creature. So, my darlings, welcome to Friday Tea. The EP one is, of course, my companion in all things, the Grand Arbiter. I am Madame Askew, the irrepressibly cheerful one for reasons we have never understood. And with us tonight is our one and only, our very darling, marvelous friend. Yes, you, the Tea Tzar.
I don't see him.
Trapped the
Where'd
Tea
he go?
Tzar in a box. As you can see below, the Tea Tzar is trapped inside a box.
Can you hear me, Tea Tzar?
I forgot to put holes in it. Oopsies.
Please conserve your oxygen, apparently. Or take your nearest teaspoon.
There's only enough oxygen to last the hour.
This is the Grand Arbiter. Newfound villain face.
I would be a really terrible villain because I would be like, no, but I don't like the anticipation. I want to do the bad thing immediately. What do you mean I have to wait to destroy the hero? That seems foolish.
Terrible. And yes, our seasonal depressive lizard, Ty. Hello, my darling. It's very happy for the increased sun. But Lady June Squill, this is a very pertinent question. Only briefly, and it is for these few weeks, and the Grand Arbiter becomes a villain during this period of time.
I just don't like the transitionary period where we have 12-hour Sundays. It's just too many hours for the sun to be out, and I have to be like perky so often. And also my delicate Fabergé skin. It's rare and it's Russian. It burns easily.
It's rare and it's Russian. Tea Tzar, you're a czar. So can you speak to this rare Fabergé skin condition that the Grand Arbiter suffers from?
He's like one of the officiators of the Fabergé egg carriers, as it were.
Stop. In old country, we make a little scarf, and we put the scarf on, and it protect the egg.
Oh, you need a scarf.
Yes.
And now I just am imagining your entire face enmeshed in scarf now.
Mine or
With
yours?
just little eyes poking out.
A little
just
Russian
a little-
mummy.
Yes.
Yeah, scarf it up. We'll just be like, don't worry.
Just wear it like that. Just put it directly on. You know what? Obscure your vision, thus that you do not have to look upon the cruelties of the world.
This is not. You know what?
Actually,
Not a good
you
time.
look very beautiful like that. That's very. You look so good in a scarf. That's why you have so many.
It's correct. I love a scarf.
You have
The
a very
problem I
scarf
have is that it covers my ears, and then I can't hear. And so, you know,
we got to give you ear pods to put in there, and then you can cover it, and then you can hear us still through the ear pods.
It is the Grand Babushka, or Babushka Askew may arrive.
No.
We're not
That's
careful.
a different thing. That's a different thing. She's Not allowed. She's on hiatus. We have sent her to the. She's on vacation at The Hague.
So, my darlings, welcome to tea. This has been our wild intro to tea time tonight. But as you can see, we're all dear, wonderful old friends.
Trapped in flesh prisons in a cruel, unfeeling world.
That's correct. We are trapped in our flesh prisons and in our boxes. But we're here with all of you. And that is the best. And I'm so excited to have the Tea Tzar on, because, you know, my darling friend, I feel as though we have known each other for decades, but we met during the Panini and became dear, wonderful friends and compatriots in tea time. And so tonight we're going to be talking about all sorts of things, of course, but you know, tea will be a huge part of the conversation.
Importantly, part of the reason I'm sad is that due to an unscheduled nap that happened about an hour ago, my tea didn't get made. So that's why I'm really sad.
No tea, Grand Arbiter. Where is Lord Asplund to bring you the tea?
I don't know. He's probably off at the Rhine House doing bureau halls with all his buds over there.
Gallivanting.
I'm
Gallivanting. My goodness, he should be home doting on you.
I have a headache. I have a toothache. I have a headache. I have a toothache.
The suffering.
The suffering.
Well, we do have some
modeling
fun
of suffering.
All. Obviously, tonight we have the very fun thing of having our dear chum, the Tea Tzar, with us. But all three of us are very busy time travelers in Steampunk Landia and do have some shenanigans lined up. Of course, I know I'm deeply excited to be attending the virtual Wild Wild West Con, not this coming weekend, but in 2 weeks on May 16th, 17th, and 18th. It is free to attend. And if you go to the Wild West Con social media, they have a wonderful little link. But if you go to our Patreon or website, we direct link it for you. Wasn't that nice? We're very nice about that. So, and we'll be part of the entertainment and part of the nonsense there, but we are certainly not all that's happening. And for those who could not attend in person, this is a wonderful opportunity to come get a little flavor, a little taste, a little treat of Wild West Con, online virtual adventures with some of the kindest, most delightful steampunks in the land. It's going to be a wonderful weekend. Jeremiah, my darling Tea Tzar, do you have anything fun coming up?
Well, first off, I find it very funny. This was the most behaved I've been with y'all in a very long time. I'm usually like, woo, chaos, but I'm like, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut for once.
That's wild. Why are you making that terrible decision?
I don't know. Something came over me.
Is it?
It was the box.
Oh, the pall of sorrows. The pall of sorrows. It's an all-consuming fabric made of stone of the depression of 10,000 crying virgin souls.
That's a lot of depression, Grand Arbiter.
Yeah,
They're very noisy.
They're real bummed. It's basically all of AO3 worked really hard to sew this fabric. They have strong fantasies, but no thoroughfare.
Oh,
Unfortunate.
Oh, Grand Arbiter. So, but Tea Tzar, please do not stand on ceremony. Please.
Or do stand right on his throat.
Oh, that's what we're
I will-
doing with ceremony now.
I don't know. Maybe he's into that.
Ceremony and I are casual acquaintances, so I'm going to sit on them instead of stand on them.
Oh, that's
Oh.
very kind.
Yes. I'm trying to be polite after all.
Very thoughtful.
Sit on it. Just sit on it.
Just do it. But yeah, so in the nearish future, because time is an anomaly and I have no idea what today's date is. That's a lie, I actually do. I will be in Columbus, Ohio in the month of, I want to say it's August. It could be September. I don't need to remember just yet, but I should probably figure that out at some point. A bunch of different Ohio-based tea organizations, including my good friends at Ohio Tea Company, are putting together a one-day tea event. So it is at a convention center. So it's basically like a tiny little tea festival, and I'm very excited. And what's going to be fun is we're going to actually be doing tea dueling, which will be great because we're bringing that outside of the steampunk community and saying, tea nerds, here's a new thing for you to be excited about. And I think they're going to love it. And if they don't love it, I'll be sad and I will cry, and my diary will be full of tears, and it'll be hard to read the ink. It'll be all smeared.
Oh. And yes, Alicia, this is drivable for you. And the Tea Tzar may need the stalwart Argent Peacock by his side. Not that I'm suggesting enabling or encouraging, but I absolutely am suggesting enabling and encouraging.
I'm gonna like activate your secret Winter Soldier style Peacock Brigade activation code. So that you'll have to do it. Pumpernickel, 3 fine mice.
Oh, goodness me.
And I agree, Eric. How could they not? And also, look, we've got a number of people who are like, I could drive there, including our beloved Ty, T.M. Kuta, the fantastic author and stalwart in our Discord, and the mastermind behind the Gail Carragher fan Discord. So if you are interested in any of those spaces, we can throw links up for you. That's just how we roll.
Also, apparently a lizard. That's the memo I got. I'm going to put that in my notes for future reference.
Yes.
Kuda is a lizard.
It will be September. I have figured out my mistake. September the 13th. Yes.
That's many moons from now, which is nice.
Yes.
Lots of moons to make happen in between.
There's oh, please go ahead.
No, you.
And welcome, Scott Mistress. Welcome everyone to tonight's tea. It's
a wackadoo one. It's pretty. My brain is basically mush, and I have the filtration system that we use to feed me, like a Braylene whale, is broken, and so now I'm hungry and agitated.
So it's not just a baleen whale; it's a Braylene whale.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Eating brains as well. Also, yes. Thank you, Scott Mistress. Now I have the song in my head. I so appreciate you. So yes, we're a little bit extra kooky and a little bit extra cheeky tonight, and that is wonderful because we are here with our dear chum, the wonderful Tea Tzar. Now, my friend, we met because all of us in the Panini started doing so much virtual content and hosting a lot of virtual steampunk events. And also, you were very involved with the advent of COGS, which was a wonderful steampunk convention that happened in New Jersey. And we had the opportunity to attend, which was so lovely. It was such a treat. But you came into this whole situation already connected with the community, but with an agenda. And your agenda was to make people feel welcome and fed and hydrated with tea. Can you share a little bit about how you got involved with the steampunk community and how you sort of swooped in as our tea hero of the story?
Absolutely. So it was the summer of 1783. I was tilling the fields.
As one
Oh,
does.
sorry. That's the wrong story. That's the wrong story. It was the summer of 1785, and I was milking the cows. So
And he was
so
struck.
yeah, I was struck by lightning. They only found my ashes. Little did I know I got isekai'd into another dimension, which just happened to be the future and nothing particularly special. But I made the best of it, you know. But no, the funny thing about steampunk for me is that I got into it kind of on accident. I never cared to dress super formal when I was a child. I was like that kid who was like, I want to be wearing dinosaur clothing or whatnot. Which is funny because now I can just wear dinosaur clothing. I need dinosaur clothing, but I had a thing where I was like, pocket watches are cool and whatnot, and I ended up getting some other accoutrements, and somehow I discovered the steampunk fashion, and I was like, I want to do this thing, and over time, I fell into the northeastern community. That is the time where the event that we refer to as "It Shall Not Be Named." But at the time it was a prominent thing. It for what bad it did, it still did some good, and I'm thankful for the good that came out of
There
it.
was a community there. There was a community of
Exactly.
people, and that
Um,
those cities have moved to other places.
Yes. And that community is how I met a lot of other friends through the secondary community, which at the time, which would have been Key City Steampunk. They were in Maryland at the time. They're now in Gettysburg, and they've become kind of my home. They are my core community, and that same community is connected to Telltale, which is in Baltimore, which is apparently is going to be in Pennsylvania this coming year. So that's interesting, but that's divergence. But I really got to experience a lot of different things, learn some new things. That's how I got into tea. Ironically, I was always a tea drinker as a child. Bottled tea, bag tea, nothing special. I remember thinking the advent of white tea was the greatest thing that ever happened in my life. And if it wasn't for a company called Wonderlust Tea Company, and their delightful little loose leaf teas, I wouldn't be where I'm at. Well, that and hyperfixations, but I needed the thing to hyperfixate on, of course. And so, as one who enjoys sharing things that I appreciate, especially when it comes to food and beverage, I found myself being like, here, I made this cold brew tea. Here, I made this other thing. Hey, I've learned Gong Fu. I want to show you it. And I just kept doing the thing. And at some point, I just got somebody's like, you're the Tea Tzar. I'm like, I get a nickname. This is the best day ever. Because as I like to tell people who don't know me, I'm like, I would never in a million years consider myself royalty, but I'll take it.
Right. Well, and it suits you in so many ways, honestly. Because you are, look, you're clearly not out here doing colonialism and having serfs, but you have a certain grandness and you hold court over tea, and you're like one of the amazing primary tea ambassadors in Steampunklandia. You are out here spreading the good word, or maybe steeping the good word, as it were.
Good word tastes like raspberry pie. It's delightful.
Oh.
That
Okay.
is what John Strangeway says. So, but no. So you found community and you found tea sort of in the same place, which I think is so beautiful, Jeremiah. But what? Oh, please go ahead.
Oh, I was like, I have to latch on to the thought process before it goes away. So when the Northeast scene kind of got shaken up, we'll put it that way.
We don't need to be like weird about it, y'all.
Oh, I like to be weird about it. It's fun.
Is it fun or is it weird? And now all these people are these West Coast people who don't know of the drama. There was significant drama with the major convention of that area, which at the time was called World Steampunk Fair, and it is currently defunct, and that name will not be consumed again. Steampunk World Fair in that place, which I cannot remember, in New Jersey. All that we need to remember is that it happened. There was a lot of controversy, and the owner is sort of a persona non grata. That is the important parts of that story.
It absolutely died in a fire that started. But out of that fire, a little bit of a phoenix, if you will, ended up being what was the groundwork for COGS. And the importance of that and the importance of tea for me is that at the time, they were just getting people together, vendors and performers and just anybody. It was very much a hey, the one hotel's like, you can still do the thing, and we still got plans, and we got people coming overseas, etc. Let's just do the damn thing. And they're like, okay, some of the individuals doing that wanted to do basically like a one-day small tea event. And I just happened to be watching them talk about this on Twitch, and I'm driving over to Ohio Tea. And mind you, I've only been to Ohio Tea once or twice at this point, so I don't even know them that well.
Not like now.
Not like now. And so I bought a bunch of stuff and said, "Hey guys, I'm gonna bring this. I'm gonna donate this to the event. This is my way of, helping out or whatever." And so, well, I didn't necessarily facilitate the tea. I at least provided the tea. And what happened from that is the next year I said, now I want to do both. And so I got to do that. And then by the third year, I was like, I want to be in the fire. I want to help with the actual convention. And eventually that ended up with me basically being the second in command of the entire convention. A very fun experience. It was a lot of hard work, but I think that I gained a lot from it. I gained a lot of friendships and the respect of a lot of community members, and that means a lot to me because you got people that you look up to, and when they give you that same respect, it feels nice. It feels nice. You feel good. Senpai noticed me, kind of thing. But
I mean, that's certainly a feel that someone might feel that. That's true. That's something someone might feel. Sure.
Yes. Also, hello everyone who is popping in now. Hello Felicia. Hello Fifi. Hello everyone. We are here talking with the delightful Tea Tzar, Maya, who is a wonderful ambassador from Maya, who is a wonderful
love tea,
and our dear friend who is joining us from the eastern habitations of Steampunklandia. We're talking about the rise and fall of one horrible convention.
We've been
and
talking about
the phoenix that came out of it, and also just like the experience of building community through food.
I mean, we're going through the entirety of we're currently going through the entirety of Tea Tzar Maya's entire CV, but we're gonna get to the plot.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. That was really that was the backbone, though. That's where I cemented my relationship with the Ohio Tea Company because I use them so much. And then that's where we got to do the virtual online teas, where I was sending out like the little tiny packages, like it weighed just enough that I put it in an envelope and used stamps. But two little samples, and everybody got to drink the same tea. That was a lot of fun. The postal service made it a nightmare because people would be like, "Yeah, I didn't get my tea," or like, "Oh, I got my tea 2 months after the thing happened." I'm like, what's going on? It was a letter.
It was, I mean, and that was during the time when the Postal Service was really under a lot of political
The
threat.
first time.
The first time, yeah, I just let me have a moment. I'm just gonna need a drink.
Just take a moment. So I'm going to sort of move away from just sort of listing off all of your achievements, which I know Madam Askew is really just pumping you to like share how cool you are, but I know that that's not super your jam. So we're going to move to something else. As Madam Askew slowly dissolves into a puddle of muck.
No, look, this Tea Tzar is very cool. And also, I'm very happy to pass off the next foray to you, Grand Arbiter. Absolutely. Yes. When you are mere tea princeling. Also, hello, Eric. It's so good to have you here.
So you've done this work for a really long time, but tea is like a big part of a lot of different kinds of experiences. What made tea and steampunk so appealing to you in this new way?
Like I said, part of it was there was that hyperfixation, there was that new thing, and because tea is such a complicated beverage, I would compare it to, you know, if you got into whiskeys or into port or into wine, you know, cigars, etc. There's so much nuance to it. There's so much to learn. There's always something new to play with. That really kept me engaged. And that's kept me engaged over a very long time. Like the most recent things that I've been doing over the last couple of years has been casually as a hobby, making my own tea blends. But again, being able to share this with people, the social aspect of it, the fact that I can keep people hydrated, which is always a plus. I love my people being healthy and alive and functional, you know.
I mean, you and Madam Askew suffer from the same mental disorder where you feel everyone around you is dying. Yes, I'm aware.
I mean, some of them are, and I need them to live.
Please live. Also, it's just we both love to show our affections by feeding people, and it's a very joyful thing to do, right?
Yes, no, I'm teasing you.
I know you're teasing me, but I don't know what I'm being. Irrepressible. That's what I'm being.
Let's get your dissertation out. Okay. Today we have gone through the machinations of voting through the democracies of our Patreon, and
we love democracy and voting rights.
The citizens of our Patreon have a split decision on either Kaiju Kamadi or Beyond the Tea Tray, and due to the power of randomness, the Beyond the Tea Tray was selected. The social power of food. Maya, this was one of your topics that you suggested. So let's say in a handful of words and not a full paragraph, what inspired this conversation around food? So your relationship with food is what?
It's painfully true. That's why I'm dying over here.
Oh yes, no, I'm placing caveats on both of you as the crone matrix is fully engaged and Mother is here to tell you what to do.
Oh no, not Mother.
Keep 20 characters like a blue sky post. Blue sky post, not 200. We've got 180 or so.
We get like 240 on Blue Sky, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. So tell us about what in your mind is what is something that makes food so important to you beyond
good.
You alive.
Happy make.
It's good. Excellent. Keeping it in that character limit. But no, look, I mean, honestly, right? You do come to conventions, you make this incredible tea room at the conventions where you are doing that work of hosting a tea room. And we're all very cognizant that the tea room, especially in steampunk spaces, becomes a little bit of the throbbing heart, the middle, the center of the convention. And at some of the old school small conventions, versus rather than a tea room, they have like the con suite, which is a very similar concept. You go, there's nosh, you have a table, you can be just with your own chums, or you can be there and make chums. It's really important for creating the sense of community. And without that shared cultural experience of sitting down and having delicious food together, some of the connectivity is lost. And it's like, it's a whole topic of anthropology to look at food and the way it connects people, right?
Absolutely. I think the easiest way to look at it is from a few different points of view. One, it's a gathering. You know, we're now forced to break away from our phones and the world around us and share the space together. There's that kind of familial, paternal kind of thing going on as well. You know, we spend a lot of time in our lives being taken care of by our parents or our caretakers or whomever. And so there's that connection where, you know, especially if you're being given food by somebody, you know that they're extending you kindness and they're concerned about your well-being. And then there's just the actual like exploratory nature of food, the experience, getting to try new things, getting to learn about maybe a culture because you've never had a certain item before, you know, especially folks from across the pond and other places might have never had some of the variety of foods that have become very Americanized, but at the same time are very exciting and new. And so it really, you know.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said also the way in which tea as a specific concept, because of its historical trappings and relationships to colonialism, means that there's like a lot of crossover of cultural thoughts, processes, and experiences that normally would not have crossed. And so we've built these sort of social constructs around the ways and the timings of how things are done. Like the people make fun of the fact that there's like the fancy dining experience with the forks that go in, but that's part of a ritual, right? Ritual, and I'm wearing the right garments. Ritual.
The ritual of tea time
of eating is one that's like fundamental to the human experience, but also there's lots of like little ways in which how we eat is important as what we eat. So like yes, sitting and eating crackers on your couch and eating them is not particularly exciting. Or eating like a cucumber sandwich is not particularly exciting just by yourself. But there is an elevated experience that's created through the sort of like grandeur of the tea experience, right? Like it's not just like a cucumber sandwich is nice, it's pleasant, but it's not fancy. And the act of fancy is not like a change of ingredients. It's a change of venue and social construct around the eating. Madame Askew and I have a deep, deep personal ritual around how we eat tea at a fancy tea house. There's a lot of we all eat the same thing at the same time, at the same rhythm. And then you also must photograph at all times, as Madame Askew has demanded.
That is correct. The photos must happen.
As said by Squire Grant.
That's correct.
The phone eats first.
Lord Granticus demands, and we doth provide.
Granticus Damascus the third.
So, but I love this because right now in the chat, everyone is talking about a lot of this tea time experience and our shared experience of eating at conventions and just in general, and really like proving this thesis at the power of ritual around food and how it brings us together. We have very clearly pinned so many of our shared experiences in the temporal entourage and steampunk landia on some of these shared foods. Like, you cannot walk into a room and talk about, you can't mention cheese without a bunch of people popping up like meerkats to be like, where's the cheese? We love the cheese. And we will descend upon a plate of cheese like a ravening horde of dinosaurs. Now I'm mixing metaphors and I don't care.
Yeah, no, I don't know what's happening. It's like meerkats and dinosaurs, the two animals that definitely did not meet.
They did not.
What I will say is that there's this other component of tea itself is very ritual in its nature of making tea. You have to make it in a specific kind of ritualistic way. Otherwise, it doesn't do the thing, right? Not only is it ritual for the sake of the thing, but also ritual for the taste of the thing.
Right. But also, I mean, there's this thing, right, that we're all sort of cognizant of at a subconscious level because we talk about it, we sort of talk around it, but it's the visceral quality of food makes itself indelibly imprinted on our souls when we share the food. So there's a reason why certain dishes become family hallmarks or cultural traditions, because when you sit down with that anywhere at any time, you know you're sharing an experience that so many people in your community have also shared, whatever the shape of that community. And in steampunk landia, tea is like a major component of that. So are things like clearly cheese. We mentioned cheese, and there's a lot of cheese love, you know. Also, like absinthe, the way steampunks love absinthe, right? These are, it's not just because of the ritual, it's not just because of the pomp and circumstance. We all have this flavor imprinted on us, and it makes the connection stronger, I think.
Well, and I think that one thing I will say about Maya is that you have your own sort of ritual and repeat offenders as it comes to like food presentation. The Maya meatball experience is talked about. The Maya meatball is I hear echoing and vibrations through the halls.
So hungry. I want one of those meatballs now. This is what you've done to me. No meatballs for me, but I want them.
I am flattered by that. I had no idea that the meatballs, specifically for those who are not familiar, they were Thanksgiving meatballs. So they were turkey, and they were made with stuffing instead of breadcrumbs. They had gravy mixed into them, provolone cheese, and then cranberries, because you got to have a little bit of cranberry sauce.
Yes.
And then obviously served with more gravy. So,
I mean, anything with gravy is a good choice. But it was something that was like talked about, and I think that this is a really important thing about your tea room that's special. So there's lots of tea rooms at lots of different conventions. But a lot of it is there's like rumor in your tea room, which I think is a fascinating phenomenon that comes out of your tea experience, where it's like, oh, were you here for the first day? They had these things and now they're out. But now they have these different things and now they're out. And now they have this third thing. Oh, no, they're out. It's like this sort of like, you've created a sense of like desire for a thing, but also you've created sort of like, there's a limited quantity. It's all out of the generosity of your heart and a lot of your efforts. And there is a limited quantity of items. And so once those items are gone, that is it. The Maya experience has closed the doors to that experience. There might be a different experience in the future, but not that one. And I think that that's something that's really special about yours, is there's this sort of like, tea rooms require a linchpin personality to function. Without them, there's just not enough effort to make them happen. And like, we can see that in other places where the tea room is more tumultuous or it's not as valued by the convention heads. They don't fight for it because it is a thing to fight for. Convention halls and hotels tend to be very stickly about food being provided in their spaces. And so
1000%.
the battle that you've taken on and the burden you've taken on to make sure that happens means that you've sold yourself to this convention in such a way that you are worth fighting for, which I think is a really like telling marker of how valuable you are to the communities that you do provide these support systems to, like Key City, like Con Possible. And I think that that's really a magical kind of thing that a tea leader, as it were, rides the table.
A tea leader. Oh my goodness. Ah.
Oh my goodness. There's definitely something to be said about scarcity, and not because I want things to be scarce, but I want things to be fresh and I want things to be interesting.
I mean, you also don't need to apologize for anything.
Oh no,
You
no, no,
should
no,
not.
no. Oh no, I think it's good. Because then you know that if I came in the morning and I come in the afternoon, there's going to be something different and it's going to be exciting, and I'm going to really, as a person who paid good money to be in my tea room, you feel like you're getting something out of it and not just there's thought put behind it, and there's an effort to keep it exciting, and we do that with the teas too. We try to keep those rotating so that people get to experience a bunch of flavors.
What is a tea that was particularly formative for you? Like, what's a tea that you think back to and it's like, this was formative? This is like a defined, not just like your brick tea that's like, oh, this is the one I have every day. But one that was like, no, tea is more to me than just a beverage.
What was your gateway tea?
Not gateway. I would say like more like your enlightenment.
Enlightenment. Oh my goodness, yes, that.
So when I was younger, we would get to go to the Asian American restaurant, and they would serve tea guanyin, which at the time I had no idea what it was. I was just like, this is tasty tea. But there was something about that tea that was very beloved to me. So as I became an adult and realized what the heck it was, and went, oh, that's what Little Meat loved. That was quite a moment, and I think that is one of those. Once again, it's there's that.
Fight with me. Madam Q and I sometimes fight over clicking the button, and then we click it at the same time, and it goes away.
Flickers. It's those memories that are built on that, and that kind of childhood nostalgia, and almost it's almost their comfort food in that sense. So I think that's really very formative, but it was one of those you didn't recognize what it was and how important it was until you got to a greater age to understand it and really reflect and go, that was a great experience, a great time in my life, and that was something that I can kind of treasure. Because the only other thing that really stands out is I really loved I believe it was Rose was the brand that made black tea bags. They had little ceramic animals and stuff. Those were adorable. Love those.
Yes.
I mean, a tea animal is an important part of it. Madam Q actually has her first tea pet that has recently made its way into Madam Q's home. I don't believe it's yet been used, but it should get fed soon.
It's true.
Maybe this weekend. Maybe while you're sewing, you can have a little tea pet time.
Yeah. And also, it's been suggested to me that I should start a lascivious tea pouring channel, and maybe I'll do that. I'll lasciviously, tantalizingly pour tea over my tea pet. Could happen. Look, there's something magical about the thing that speaks to your soul like that, and recapturing something that was so special to you as a young person, but finding it with the kind of richness of experience you have as an adult, where you can search for more of that thing. Like tea guanyin is a very particular, beautiful oolong tea. It's so delicate. It's really, it's one of my favorite oolongs. I always feel like it's celebratory whenever I drink it. And it's not something you'd necessarily find on the regular grocery shop store shelves, right? It's a kind
Right.
of a particular. It's oolong is not something that is just kicking around when you were a young person.
Absolutely. Um, the other fun experience I could say is when I was getting into tea, I found the tea subreddit, um, and they had a giveaway where a bunch of vendors that were on that Reddit, uh, put something up for to give away. Um, I never win anything, but I tried anyways, and that was the first time I ever had matcha because I won the matcha, and good lord, was that some of the best matcha I've ever had. That was an experience. But if it wasn't for that, I might not have gone into that stage where I gave that a try. I would have gotten there eventually, but it really kind of pushed me out of the comfort zone to try something new, something
Yes,
unfamiliar.
I
It was a
love
lot of fun.
that. Well, and now you have so many connections in the tea community outside beyond the bounds of Steampunklandia. You've developed this wonderful relationship with Ohio Tea. You've introduced so many people to their tea. You have the delightful Captain Sam from Banana Dog is a beloved friend, also often purveyor of tea at steampunk events. I'm
Oh yes.
sure there are others. We have our very special relationship with Tea Punk Teas, and a developing relationship with Friday Teas out of Seattle, and it is something special because there is the shared love of the thing that we're all obsessed with, but also this culture, the the social power that has developed around this beverage we all love so much, and then we can share with our chums and introduce them to something magical and wonderful and wholesome and soothing for the spirits at bad times. I mean, tea is a very powerful beverage, so
Oh yes.
you know beautiful,
Absolutely. Uh,
beautiful.
yes. I will, because you mentioned it. I will give a shout out. So Sam, who runs Banana Dog / Cafe Tamaki / Theology, they're all different parts of the same kind of core thing. His tea is wonderful. He's wonderful to work with. I'm glad that I get the opportunities to, especially at Compossible, to get to run his teas and help support um, a business in a person. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Beyond my close friends at IoT, Sam is also a close friend, and I want to make sure that as many T ships are uplifted by our TC.
I mean, that's how much tea Madame Q needs is a C worth. So it's
That's
good that we
correct.
have so much.
Now,
Particularly now, I feel like we're moving out of Dead Sea territory and moving into Red Sea territory. Like we need a larger sea.
we need so much tea.
We need a bigger boat.
We do. We need a fleet, an armada, if you will. Now, I have a question for you based on what Cheshire is saying. We've talked a lot about our experiences with the way tea in particular, but food in general sort of brings us all together and this social power. But I also do not generally like matcha. I find it very grassy in a similar way to Cheshire. I'm always like a little bit disappointed, and I keep telling myself, well, it wasn't like good, or I didn't do it right, or I went to the wrong place. Is there a way to make your matcha not taste like grass and be delicious? Or is it just a thing where like it may never be for you because you just don't like the flavor profiles that are present?
So the simplest way of putting it is the best way to drink tea is the way that you enjoy it. The longer answer to that one is it could be how you're preparing it. It could be the quality of the tea. it could be just that your taste buds don't quite enjoy that. I would say before, especially if you've invested in matcha, before you go, okay, this isn't for me, try making a matcha latte. Try making a matcha delgado, which is phenomenal. Try thinking outside the box. Matcha chocolate chip cookies with white chocolate chips are phenomenal.
And sometimes a person just wants to eat grass, and that's fine.
That's fine. I respect you, like many animals, need to pretend like you are a cow, and that is fine.
My guilty matcha pleasure is if I'm at a Starbucks, I will get their hot matcha latte, which is already pre-sweetened. It's got plenty of milk, so that's already rounding out some of the bit more bitter notes, etc. I get it with white chocolate. It is very delightful. And sometimes I get it with white chocolate and peppermint, and it tastes like those white chocolate, like Christmas trees that you would get that are kind of minty. Oh my Lord. It's worth a try. I know it's an adulteration of the poor matcha, but I don't care. It's delightful.
It's also a different kind of ritual. I mean, yes. I have my go to Starbucks and basically only go to Starbucks when I am getting on a plane, and I get a matcha frappuccino that's taller than my head. And then I sit and wait for my plane because, of course, I've arrived 4 hours early, as is my duty as a mentally unwell person. And I think that there is something like, here's the thing: all of these sort of adulterations are just like we can complain about the corporate nature of these consumptions. We can complain about the sort of like cultural appropriation. Those are all things that we can talk about. But these things exist, and we can't, and they're not really going away. And it's not as though this is like eating into like these are economies that have been made for themselves to consume themselves. And yeah, the tea shop is a pretty niche market in the United States, but it's why it's successful in the place it is. I mean, if you look at the tea market, like being in Arizona last week, was talking to Madame Askew, there are so many tea shops in Tucson. It is actually kind of wild.
But they are not all created equal.
I mean, no, but like you get what I mean.
Yes, that's true. That's true. No, I do think there is the like comfort tea order or the travel tea order. So
the ritual.
The ritual. No, when I'm traveling and I'm, especially at the airship docks, there's a very limited variety, if you will, of tea options. And so my go-to is chai, because it's usually from a pre-made blend in those places. And also because chai is meant to be oversteeped by comparison to things like oolong, and which need much less time for steeping than you think they do. And so when they oversteep it and set the water too hot, I still get a nice cup of tea out of it, which is great, because if I ask for an oolong,
they make mistakes that will make you sad. Some of us are discerning, and some of us, like myself, are little garbage monsters who just don't have that many opinions beyond like this nice, this not so nice.
I'll be fair. When I say, some of the things, I'm honestly poking fun at the concept of like, oh, it's not good tea. Like at the end of the day, like I appreciate good tea.
There is unpleasant experience tea. Madame Askew and I have had it. It is bad. Now, most of it is like diner bag tea, which is a cruelty that we've only forced ourselves on. But like, there is bad versions of things, or at least unpleasant sufficiently enough. A thing so derivative of itself that is less pleasant. But also, at what point are things transformative, I guess? Maybe that suffering has strengthened us in some ways, preparing us for the troubles of 2025.
I do pack in the tea bags with us for travel, and they have saved us many times. And also, all right, I said something really cheeky in the comments. We're not going to pull up my reply, but the Scone Mistress asked a very wonderful question about tea shops here in Tucson. There's so many. What other ones does she need to try on her next visit? And I said something that was cheeky and kind of dismissive of the others, but inaccurate, because Lady June Squirrel is correct. The other tea place to go in Tucson, if you're ever here, is the Scented Leaf, which is a wonderful little tea shop that has multiple locations and is more like cafe culture than tea house culture. So if you like that kind of Starbucks cafe experience, Seven Cups has that kind of vibe, but it's tea. It's all tea. They have a tea, like teas on tap for iced tea. So you just be like, I don't want hot. I'll just take what you've got on tap. Very nice, but they have a lovely selection of blends. So they're a tea shop that focus on blends rather than single leaf generally. And it's a lot of like modern blends and European style blends. So, but they're lovely. And several of the other places I tried recently were deeply disappointing, and that is why I made my very cheeky reply in the comments. So we'll just leave it at that.
Oh my.
So we are approaching the hour. Your oxygen is now running low. I hope you've accepted your doom.
Are you feeling lightheaded, Tea Tzar?
I suddenly am seeing radioactive giant lizards.
I mean, it looks blurry where you're at.
It feels blurry.
So, of course, folks, you can support myself and Madame Askew by supporting us on our Patreon and support our little adventures. Maya, how can folks support you in your food making endeavor?
So I'll be words. I'll be at a few different things for the rest of this year. So I mentioned the Ohio Tea Festival, and I will also be at the Northeast Ohio Steampunk Festival in Burton, Ohio. It's a little outdoor event. They'll be in their 4th year, I believe. It'll be great fun. I'll be doing tea doling there as well. My friends from Ohio Tea will be there once again. They were there last year. They sponsor the tea doling. And I will be at Key City for sure. We're looking to do a free, basic like tea room light. So nothing super crazy, but I'm going to basically run like a miniature version of the tea room in my my room because I've got one of the suites. And this is a way to kind of just give some people a nice space to chill out, relax, kind of enjoy some quiet time. And from there, it'll be back around to the following year. We will definitely be at Possible once again. And I might make a sneak peek appearance at TessaCon. We'll see. So
very exciting. Tea Tzar, you have made steampunk more like home for so many of us. With your
keeping them warm in your bosom.
Yes, in your bosom of tea, holding us close to Mother Tea. But you've fed us, you've kept us hydrated, you've staked our thirst, and you've also kept our community at large alive and kicking, and really supported with your efforts through the power of food, specifically tea. You also participate in putting on the Kiki Room, the infamous temporal entourage Kiki Room that pops up at certain conventions like Wild West Con, like not Possible, but International Steampunk Symposium and that sort of thing. It's been really remarkable to see the work you can do through the power of tea and audacity, if you will. But dear Eric asked a very great question is there a place where those of us who adore you and adore what you do and how you donate so much food and tea to conventions, where we can support you and your efforts?
So I do not have a Ko-fi coffee. I don't know how one's pronounced. Patreon or any of those kind of things.
Yeah.
I do a lot of stuff out of the goodness of my heart, and if you do see me at an event, there's especially Compossible. We do have the boba tea that we sell. That is something that does help to generate a little bit of money for me, as well as get you an awesome, delicious drink in a cool ass bottle. What else could you
Yes.
ask for?
Yes.
But outside of that, I just do the things.
Well, we'll make sure that we get your schedule. We will nag you to make a schedule image about where you're going to be, so you can post it onto our Discord and onto your social medias. And we will also be sending your social medias out to the world so that people can connect and find you. I hope this was fun for you, being berated by a witch and a crazy lady. You can decide which one is which.
Hard to say tonight, but my darlings, I am going to tell you one of the best ways I think you can support the Tea Tzar, and that is to show up in his tea rooms, drink the tea, and drop off swag in the form of pins, buttons, and free-range cravats. Just like shower him in swag, and then if you're feeling really perky, boxes of tea. Just like mysterious boxes of tea that just appear in the tea room. Just deliveries. Let us keep the
Maybe
tea
not
jar
too
forever.
mysteriously.
I mean, within reason. Don't bring a whole pallet of tea. That's a lot to take home.
Maya, do you have anything else you want to say before we close up for the night?
Absolutely. If you also want to do something nice for me, you can do that by buying a friend or even a stranger a cup of tea and just brightening their day for me.
That is beautiful.
Oh, that's so nice.
You are such a cinnamon roll and such a beloved friend. There's so much we didn't even get into because we were focusing on tea and community. But you're part of another community, and that is the Asgardians with the wonderful Asgard and Lady Wheelsworth. But also
May their airship fly true for the current time.
Yes. And so another way to support the Tea Tzar, of course, is to support the wonderful communities he is a member of. And that, of course, includes all of you, my darling
maybe you could buy
treasures.
yourself a cup of tea.
Jeremiah, you've got to help me. Are they treasures?
Treasures. Treasures.
You're all wonderful treasures, and we treasure you so much that you must, of course, treasure yourselves. So as we say goodnight and go forth out of here into our separate and diverse corners of Steampunklandia, please remember to take very good care of yourselves because you are irreplaceable. So drink the good tea or the tea you love. It doesn't have to be the best tea. It just has to sing to your soul. Get those vaccines and boosters. Eat your vitamins and minerals. Stay hydrated. Wear a tiara to the grocery for your marketing. Why not? Eggs cost a fortune. And no matter what, just remember that one of the most powerful things you can do is to connect with the rest of your community over a cuppa or plate of cheese or what have you, and just to check in and to be there for each other. So remember to check in with someone you love today and to remind them of what a treasure they are in your life. And so, my darlings, with that said,
I mean, with that, I feel like you said, I think you said the same statement 4 times in 4 different ways.
I did, because if Charles Dickens can, so can I.
May I
We
interject
should
for
not be
2
taking
seconds?
advice from Charles
Yes.
Dickens. Not all of our advice should be from Charles Dickens. He loved cocaine.
I have a question that needs to get answered. I can't leave it unanswered. The question of which 17 isopods are in my scuba suit. They are all rubber ducky isopods. If you're not familiar, go see the adorableness. That is all. Thank you.
That is all. Thank you. Grand Arbiter, would you like to close out for us?
Be sure to take care of yourselves so I treasure you. Like I treasure everyone. And I treasure everything on this earth. Maya, do you want to have a turn?
My darling sparkle glitter unicorns, you're all irreplaceable, and I treasure you as you should treasure yourself. Remember to be kind, to be loving, to eat your vegetables, to drink your tea, do not let it get cold. And remember, there's only one of you. That's enough, but we thank you for that.
And hating Nazis is free. I'll see y'all later. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Love y'all.